My name is Wason Miles. Everybody, I go by Haku. It's my nickname. And we are the aircrew life support technicians. And we're in charge of all the pilot's equipment. So we suit them up and make sure everything's ready for them when they fly. And then we put them in the suit and then run all the tests before we put them in the airplane, before they fly.
So what's special about the suits?
The suits, the same company that makes all the headsets, David and Clark, they make all the suits for the ER2 and the U2 pilots, and they also make the suits for the astronauts. So these suits, from head to toe, from the helmets all the way with the suits and everything, is worth $250,000. So each suit is custom fit to each pilot. So we have to do all the measurements and everything, send it to David and Clark, and they'll pour the molds for the gloves, the boots, socks, and everything.
Oh, wow.
And what is the purpose of wearing a suit?
So this will act as a secondary safety mechanism when they're flying at 65,000 feet. And if they lose cabin pressure, they can dial in pressure, and it brings their body back down to around 35,000 feet, and it'll keep them safe.
What would, I mean, heaven forbid it ever happened, but what would happen if they didn't have something like that?
They would die.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like scuba diving. So they have to pre-breathe. These coolers right here have liquid oxygen in them. So we'll fill the liquid oxygen before flight, and they'll breathe 100% oxygen an hour before they even take off to get all the nitrogen out of their system.
Wow.
Because it's just like scuba diving, they can develop the bends going up that high. So they're pretty safe unless they lose cabin pressure. Then they have this, and they can dial in pressure, which they have two systems on here. They have system 2 and they have system 1.
Okay.
So they can either press it for system 2, mainly that's just to check to make sure everything's working. And system 1, they can just dial in the pressure, and then they'll just blow up.
Oh, wow.
And it'll keep them safe.
I noticed there's an ejection seat with the plane. So, and they said they're connected directly to the locks.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So they have, right here is the harness that they wear.
Okay.
And it'll go over the suit. And then there's this harness right here. So they have this that's already in the aircraft. This is a low flight harness for the pilots we just built up. When they're not wearing a suit and they're doing their proficiency flights, they'll wear this and their regular helmets. But that's where it'll connect into the aircraft, and then they'll get the oxygen through that.
Okay.
And then we'll strap them all in, and this will connect to the survival kits. And then this will connect to the parachutes in the seat.
Oh, okay.
So, and then they'll have the spurs, which goes on the suit or on their boots.
Oh.
And it'll connect to the seat. So what that does is it'll keep them for the proper ejection, procedures. It'll pull their feet back as they eject. That way it won't cut their feet off or
Right.
damage,
oh my goodness. Yeah.
break their legs.
Yeah.
Because in the event that they do have to and they're going through everything, some of them might not remember to pull their feet back.
Yeah.
So this will automatically pull their feet back and have them safe ejection.
What all do you have to do to make sure everything is working?
We do, on the suits, we do a lot of inspections. So we have the 120-day inspection, so basically every 4 months.
Okay.
We do a periodic inspection, they have an annual inspection, and they have a 78-month inspection. And then a suit's good for 13 years from the date of manufacture, and then it has to go back to David and Clark for overhaul.
Okay.
And then torso harness is the same, and then the helmets are the same. It's all 120 days. And they go back to David and Clark for overhaul when it's time. And then they'll do what they gotta do, and then they'll send it back.
Send it back.
How long, if you were to bring on a new pilot, how long does, I mean, is there training, just the suit and?
All of our pilots come from BO Air Force. At one point in their career, they were stationed at BO Air Force Base in California, flying U-2s. So all of these suits, all the equipment belong to the Air Force. So they send their suits to us when they come and fly with us. So most of them are retired Air Force, and they'll come to NASA. Which most of us, me and Corky, we're retired Air Force, and we've been doing this for a long time. So they'll come to us, and then we'll call up to Bill, say, hey, we got this pilot, and they're going to be flying with us. So they'll get their suits and send them to us.
Yeah.
Now, today you've been very busy because they're flying tomorrow. And
Right.
I've noticed you've been very busy getting everything together.
Yeah.
What kind of steps do you have to take before flight to make sure everything's good?
We have to do when they fly, we have to do a pre-flight. So everything that we do on the pilot before they fly, during the pre-flight, we actually do the same thing, but it's simulated like they're in the suit. So we're doing checks and everything, make sure there's no leaks or the allowable leaks for the suit. And then once that's done, after the flight, we do the post-flight, which is almost the same thing. So once we do the post-flight, we're kind of doing a pre-flight for the next flight,
Okay.
because the pre-flight is good for 5 days.
Oh,
And if they don't fly within the 5 days, then we gotta do another pre-flight on
Yeah.
the suit.
yeah.
And then we'll go and fill 4 of the LOX containers. So what that does is it actually keeps them cool in the suit, because the hose will connect into the T-block right here. So it's bringing in ambient air and the LOX,
And the
keeping them cool as they're breathing the 100% oxygen
Right.
at the same time.
Okay.
And then we'll get the cockpit ready for the integration of the pilot. So we keep kind of busy before the flight.
Yeah.
Now, if something happened, I noticed you have at least 4 different pilots,
Yes.
and we've talked to the ones that are supposed to be flying tomorrow. But if something would happen and one of them would be sick, can another pilot just step in?
Yes.
Or is it going to be a lot of work for you then to make?
No, so what we do is we find out who's flying and who the mobile is. And usually the mobile is the backup to the pilot. So we'll do the pre-flights for both,
Oh,
Okay.
just in case.
yeah.
In the helmet right here, you see all these squiggly lines? It's kind of like your rear defroster on your car. So when they go up that high, because they're breathing, it'll get foggy
Oh,
in there. So
yeah.
they have a heater that when it connects, it'll defog it.
I know, like, I'm just thinking my own children would ask this question, but how does the bathroom work?
Right here. Here,
Oh,
let me
okay.
take this down. I can open it up for you. Do we have? So right here, which we call the UCD hose, the urination collected device. This is a valve that they'll turn on. And inside, inside of here, you'll have this that connects to this.
Okay.
So they'll put this on, and this will connect inside. So when I was talking about the controller where they dial in pressure, they'll dial in a little pressure to create a flow, because this will go into the aircraft. This part will go into the aircraft,
Okay.
and then it'll go into a can that's under the footboard.
It's under there. Yeah. Awesome.
So
Well-
it creates a flow and they'll go pee.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But they cannot go number 2.
Okay.
Kickoff is at 7. Then it'll be at 5:45 when the pilot comes down and we start. Because we got to do it, make sure he gets on oxygen an hour before
Oh,
takeoff
right.
time.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll start the suit up then, and then once we finish with all that, then we'll take him out to the aircraft and
Okay.
then strap him in. Because they cannot do all the
Right.
strapping, we do everything. And then make sure he's good to go, and then they take off.
Yeah.
I've been with NASA for 14 years, so about 14 years I've been doing the pressure suits, but for life support in general, I retired. I did 20 years in the Air Force, so about 34 years.